Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. This is the weekend edition of the Left, Right and Centre. I'm Osama Shah. There is a lot lined up on the show today. But first, let's take a look at the headlines. 18 people have died and several others injured at a stampede that occurred at the Delhi Railway Station. A two-member inquiry committee has been formed. The government has paid the compensation to the kin of dead and the injured. Several other stations are also on high alert. The opposition attacks the NDA government over Kumbh mismanagement. Akhilesh Yadav says that this is a double blunder government and not a double-engine government. Lalu Yadav says that Railways has failed and that the railway minister must resign. BJP, in the meanwhile, calls them political vultures. The key decision on who's going to be the Chief Minister of Delhi likely to be tomorrow. The Delhi BJP Legislative Party meet is happening tomorrow. A flight from the United States brings back 119 deputies. An entire row has erupted over deputies not being allowed to tie turbans. The SGPC has condemned the US government for not allowing the Sikh deputies to wear turban. A tragic stampede occurred at the New Delhi railway station last night, resulting in the loss of 18 lives and many people getting injured. This entire incident happened around 10 p.m. on the platform number 14 and 15, where a massive crowd had gathered to board the trains to Prayagraj for the Mahakumbh festival. Now, a two-member inquiry committee has been formed. The government has paid the compensation to the kin of dead and the injured. Multiple stations across the country, they are on high alert. In fact, my colleague Shreya, she spoke to the DCP, KPS Malhotra. Let's first listen in to that conversation.
Please tell us, after the disastrous overnight stampede today, what kind of special arrangements are put in place? We can see several military and paramilitary forces have been deployed. Other than that, we also saw this one rope that has been tied to regulate the crowd. Other than that, what else is there?
What you have seen is basically the aspects of the crowd management, and that's what is the foremost focus for today. Because we are expecting footfall, that's not deniable. We are expecting more special trains, that's not deniable. But to cater to the additional footfall and additional train movement, we are geared up our arrangements as far as the manpower is concerned, and as far as logistic is concerned. So that is our focus right now.
So how come you didn't expect the footfall to increase yesterday? I mean, it's the weekend that we are talking about, and also another point that we are seeing overcrowding, not here as much as we are seeing in the other railway stations, like Old Delhi Railway Station, Nizamuddin, because several of these trains have been diverted there. What do you have to say about that?
As of now, the other railway stations are also provided the additional manpower, because we are expecting that people will be trying their level best to reach to Prayagraj for the holy day. But to cater to that and to give them a safe movement, we have increased our deployment in all police station, railway stations. And even railways is taking a step forward to make access of more special trains.
We talk about the ground situation here at New Delhi Railway Station, platform number 16. You can see police personnel have been deployed in large number, and we can also see, the passengers are standing here in a much systematic way than the usual. Usually we do not see, the railway station platforms being this systematic. We can see this rope has been tied up to regulate the crowd, and the police personnel are constantly making announcement. The helpline number 39, that is also quite active right now, which got more than 100 to 100 calls yesterday when people were frantically looking for help, when that whole stampede happened last night, after the whole confusion between these two trains that were heading to Prayagraj that got cancelled, and that's when the whole chaotic situation erupted. People were panic-stricken, and then we of course saw visuals of people, jostling each other, pushing and pulling, and that led to several people gravely injured. injured, and which also resulted in the death of 18 people who, of course, they received the 10 lakh rupees financial compensation from the Railway Ministry. We have fact-checked it. We have spoken to one of the victims, and he did mention that he has received the 10 lakh rupees amount after the death of her daughter, after the death of his daughter. And also we know that 1 lakh rupee has been given to all those who are injured, and 2.5 lakhs rupees have been given to the ones who are gravely injured, who continue to stay injured. But if I show you some visuals here, you can see the crowd is normal. I wouldn't say it is out of control or it is too much, because usually Indian Railways, we see this kind of crowd on a day-to-day basis.
Meanwhile, politics is also playing out, with the opposition attacking the government over what they call mismanagement. From Akhilesh Yadav to Mamata Banerjee to Lalu Yadav. Let's in fact listen in to all those reactions that have come.
दिल्ली के हादसे के बाद, दिल्ली की घटना के बाद ये डबल इंजन नहीं, डबल ब्लंडर की सरकार बन गई है। सोचो कितने लोगों की जान गई। और सुनने में ये भी आया कि जो पत्रकार साथी अस्पताल में जाना चाहते थे, उन्हें फौज से रोक दिया गया। कोई पत्रकार अंदर नहीं जा सकता है। यही याद कीजिए आप, जब पहले दिन भगदड़ हुई थी, उस दिन भी पत्रकार साथियों को किसी को नहीं जाने दिया अंदर, जानकारी नहीं लेने दी।
Very sad, very, very sad situation. I think honestly, these are the kinds of human losses for which there is absolutely no compensation possible. We've seen an unknown number of deaths in the Kumbh Mela itself. Today's news about the deaths in the Delhi Railway Station are also extremely upsetting. Whenever we have this kind of uncontrolled number of crowds and people in circumstances like this, it seems to me we are inviting this kind of problem. I think more stringent measures will have to be put in place, because safeguarding human life has to be the number one priority.
देखिए, बहुत ही दुखद खबर है और लगातार जो है लोगों की जानें जा रही है। व्यवस्था पूरी तरीके से चौपट है। पूरा देश और बिहार जानना चाहता है कि इन मौतों का जिम्मेवार कौन है दोषी। हजारों लोग जो हैं, श्रद्धालु जो हैं, वो मारे जा रहे हैं और सरकार को कोई चिंता नहीं है। सरकार केवल अपने पीआर में लगी हुई है कि इंतज़ाम इतना अच्छा है, बल्कि इंतज़ाम की अगर बात की जाए तो केवल जो वीवीआईपी के जहाँ टेंट्स वगैरह लगे हैं या नाव चल रही हैं, केवल इंतज़ाम वहीं तक सीमित है।
ये जो हादसा बेहद दुखद है और जो भी लोग दिवंगत हुए हैं, हम उनके परिवारों के प्रति संवेदना प्रकट करते हैं। नई दिल्ली स्टेशन पर जो भी भगदड़ हुई, तो वो भगदड़ के कारण से ये हुआ, लेकिन निश्चित रूप से कुंभ की व्यवस्थाएं बहुत अच्छी हैं, चाहे वो देश में कहीं पर भी हो, किसी भी रेलवे स्टेशन पर हो। अक्सर ऐसा होता है कि ज़्यादा उत्साह से जितनी कैपेसिटी होती है उससे ज़्यादा लोग आ जाते हैं और फिर कोई भी शरारती तत्व या किसी ने भी हल्की सी कान में कुछ कह दिया तो एकदम भगदड़ की स्थिति बनती है। क्योंकि रेलवे ने एक कमेटी बिठा दी है, तो मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि रेलवे की जांच में ये विषय सामने आएगा, इसकी सच्चाई सामने आएगी।
Now, these deadly tragedies, they have become a recurring nightmare. Take the example of the Mahakumbh, that stampede that happened at the Mahakumbh on the 29th of January, where 30 people died. The Hathras stampede on the 2nd of July in 2024, 121 people dead. Take the case of Tamil Nadu illicit liquor case, the 19th of June 2024, 65 people died. And then there was the fire at Rajkot's gaming zone on the 25th of May 2024, where 27 people died. And this list, it goes on. From Mumbai to Chennai, to Hathras, to now the Delhi's railway station, the story remains the same. Lives are lost, families are shattered, and the entire country is left wondering what's the value of a human life in this country. Why do we fail to learn from our mistakes? Who's accountable for these tragedies? And what will it take for us to prioritize human safety above all else? We'll try and find those answers. I'm currently joined by my panelist at the moment, Mr. Arunendra Kumar, I beg your pardon, former chairman, Railway Board. I also have Ramakrishnan TS, railway policy expert. I also have Advocate Mahima Singh, the spokesperson of the Congress Party. And I also have Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. Ms. Charu Pragya, I would like to start with you. The governments keeps reiterating that everything is in place. Yet we keep seeing these tragedies unfold. It's a really sad situation. When you say that everything is in place, why do these tragedies keep taking place?
Good evening, Osama. And I am in complete agreement with you. These tragedies are heartbreaking, and what has happened in Delhi yesterday, there are absolutely no words for me to express my remorse right now. Every single life that we lost is precious, and there is no way to bring them back. However, the politicization of a situation like this, of a stampede, is completely and thoroughly unfair, and I cannot be strong enough when I say this. This is a situation which occurs when large numbers of people gather at any place. This is not just about tragedies that occur in India, tragedies that have occurred in the Kumbh of the present or the past. This extends beyond. I can, in fact, quote you instances from around the world where stampedes have happened in football stadiums, where a stampede has happened in Japan after a fireworks show, where a stampede has happened in the United States of America after a pyrotechnic show. So, this situation, the largest stampedes in the world have happened at the Hajj, killing to the tune of thousands of people during the stoning of the devil. So, politicizing this, trying to color it with religion is completely unfair. And I cannot say this strongly enough. Every single political leader who's trying to be a vulture in a situation such as this should be very, very ashamed. Now, let me tell you what transpired yesterday in Delhi. Special number of trains have been deployed to ferry people to Prayagraj. In fact, over 2,700 such trains have been deployed in the recent month. And that's including the regular trains as well. The number of people going to Prayagraj is unprecedented. That's never happened before. Yesterday, one such special train was announced, which caused everybody to rush to the staircase, and that's where some people fell and the stampede occurred. Now, there are already investigations that are going on. The railway and the high level committee is doing their best to find out how this started. Of course, accountability is going to be fixed. But I would still request everyone, please be sensible at a time like this. Please don't bring this down to your country being problematic, your religion being problematic, this government being problematic, because that is the worst that you can do in a situation such as this. Also understand this Mahakumbh has come after 144 years. All of us are excited to be a part of it in one way or the other. And apart from some instances which have been more than terrible, everybody else has come back happy. Let's remember that as well. And if I compare it to the Mahakumbh of 2013 that happened in Prayagraj, you know how things transpired because the mismanagement of Sapa Sarkar took it to a very, very bad height when they wanted to take care of some VIPs. And that was Azam Khan who was taking care of a Mahakumbh then.
Okay. Advocate Mahima Singh, Charu Pragya is saying that she's in fact asking, why are you politicizing this incident? Your reaction?
Jai Hind. In fact, the word politicization is applicable on the BJP, and for the last 11 years, what we have seen is politicization of religion in this country. And today, the epitome of that politicization is politicization of Mahakumbh. You see how it was declared, in the way it has been declared. Just now, the BJP spokesperson shamelessly spoke about the incidences from across the world. I would like to ask her, where in the world we have seen a government that thumps its chest for investing 7,000 crores in, for organizing an event like this for 100 crore people and is unable to handle 50 crore. They have recorded a footfall of 50 crore people and they have evidently been, it's been a failure. Their management has been a failure and a gross one at that. Now, Osama, you see, the questions are galore and we want to ask. The BJP spokesperson just said the accountability will be fixed. But when? For this government, it is, from committees to compensation to convolution of the whole issue. Because we have a lot of questions that we want to ask of this government today. Today, in front of the LNJP hospital, if you see, there's a heavy deployment of security forces. Why? Because they want to keep the media away from the facts. We have seen that tickets were sold at 1,500 per hour. I mean, 1,500 people buying tickets per hour. But why was the railway minister not able to manage that? Why was this government not able to manage that? We want to know how many police personnel and CRPF soldiers were deployed at the police at the railway station at that point in time. We also want to know, where is there a list of the deceased? Has it been issued? During the time of Manipur, when it was burning, and now there is a president's rule there, Osama, Supreme Court had remarked while bashing this government that this government, the BJP government, goes on forming committee after committee till they get a favorable outcome. That is what we are seeing today. One after the other railway incidents are happening. But what the BJP government has to offer us is a committee after a committee after a committee. You would remember the times of Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, when one rail accident happened and he offered his resignation. Just now, the BJP person took us back to 2013, where she is saying Azam Khan was responsible and he offered his resignation at that. Where is the resignation of Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav? Why does this government not hold accountability upfront and forthright? Because I think it's very evident. Multiple positions are vacant, lying vacant in the railways. We have been raising questions.
We'll try and get a response. We'll try and get a response from Charu
The
Pragya.
BJP's narrative rings hollow.
Osama.
Yes.
These kind of
very quickly, make your point, Charu Pragya, before I go to my guests, other guests.
These kind of statements completely negate the wonderful work that has actually been happening. And it bothers me because you can't be an ostrich with your head in sand. When something massive happens in this country, you know how much amount was spent by the government, but are you aware that 2 lakh crore in revenue was generated? Do you know how many people are deployed there? There are over 6 lakh workers which have been deployed. Ma'am, I don't think this is the kind of channel which encourages.
Do not mock at the death of
I will
our
request you, Osama, to step in because this is not the way I did it. I will not
Let's try and keep this civil. Charu Pragya, make your point and we'll take a response from Mahima Singh as well.
It is literally
a very quick response.
Heartbreaking that you forget to talk about stampedes that have happened in nightclubs, football clubs, at Hajj locations, at temples. Otherwise, tell me, is there a magic formula where you can come and say that no accident will ever happen in any part of the world? Yes, I can say that if an accident happens.
All right. A very quick response from Mahima Singh before I go to my other guests. Mahima Singh, please go ahead. A very quick response.
Apathy personified. If shamelessness had a face, it would be Charu Pragya. It would be the BJP.
I don't understand why you need to get down.
All right, let's not make personal remarks, Mahima Singh. All right, let's go across to Arunendra Kumar. Mr. Kumar, all right, we'll get back to you. Let's go to Arunendra Kumar, former chairman of the Railway Board. Sir, what are we doing wrong, and what needs to be fixed?
Namaskar. Now, yesterday's incident, of course, first of all, my condolences to the bereaved families. It should not have happened. That's for very sure. There must have been some kind of mistake, and not one mistake. There would be accumulation of small mistakes which happen, because one mistake does not lead to such a massive disaster.
Okay.
What needs to be understood that railway is not new to crowd management. Railway is not new to starting trains at such occasions. And they are agreeable, they know that crowd will be there. They are aware that they are sending 1,500 tickets every hour, almost every day. And this happens at a time when you have a special train. There were 2 special trains announced, and that's why that train unreserved tickets were sold. The question which needs to be answered and will be certainly answered by the committee is that what caused the crowd to panic? The extra number of people, whatever the mob we call, is okay. It has to be there when the trains are there. And trains do get delayed. And at that point, there were 2 trains were delayed, and 1 was to leave. 3 trains that way, and 2 were the specials which were to leave in a short while. So 5 trains were to leave. So the people had collected earlier. They had come to the station knowing well that it would take time. And there was jam packed. That is also okay. Nothing wrong with that, because stations are bound to be that when there is a train departure. What is to be understood, and this has happened at a point which is the staircase, the stairs or the escalator. What happened wrong? Because nobody has fallen on the track. The train has not passed a signal. Nothing has gone wrong with the operations part. So this needs to be looked into, that why people jumped over one another and caused this kind of scrambling for reaching the train. There was a no train change platform. That is the first trigger which happens one platform to another. And that's what I've been told, that now railways have said, all right, to meet this problem, we will only do Yatra specials from platform 16, which is the first platform as we enter from Ajmeri Gate side. No overbridge. Everything else will shift to other 15 platforms. So that is the thing which needs to be understood. Crowd, extra people, extra trains. And you see, after 11:30, two more special trains were run impromptu because the crowd was so much. So they ran, then cleared by 2 o'clock, 2:30. Everything was clear. And these trains, and you think of Prayagraj, where these trains are being received from all over the country. There is proper crowd management, there is proper crowd dispersal, and the best way to do that is evacuate the crowd as early as you can. And that was done. Why this panic and jumping over one another, that needs to be seen and analyzed by the CCTV cameras.
All right. In fact, Mr. Ramakrishnan T.S., sir, as a railway policy expert, what is your take on the emergency preparedness that we have in place at the moment, and what do we change? How do we change it so that incidents like these do not occur?
Good evening. So it's a very tragic incident, and I think no more incident of stampede will happen before the Kumbh Mela ends on February 26th. So that is what our belief is. And I mean, whether it is in railway station or whether it is in bus station or it is in banks of Ganges, wherever it may be, or in some other places, let us hope that no untoward incident happens from here onwards. First thing is, I mean, I don't agree with Mr. Arnendra Kumar, former chairman of the railway board, that why people jostle with each other and then jump on each other. See, when the crowd becomes unmanageable, when it's basically a simple law. If you can accommodate 100 people in a particular space, and if you are accommodating 120 people, certainly people will fall on each other, people will scramble with each other, they jostle with each other, and that can result in somebody falling on the ground, and then others were running over them. So these things will happen. So the best thing is to preempt crowding in the railway station. And there is the additional 2 trains. Once you give additional 2 trains, then you can't control the crowd, because the crowd will think that, okay, and with all the unreserved coaches, passengers will think that, okay, they can somehow get into the train and then reach Prayagraj.
Right.
So basically, it's an input-output relationship. Whereas the capacity is less, whereas the demand is much more.
Long-term solutions there.
People who everybody
that need to be in place to address this systematic issue that is there at the moment. Before we take a break, one final word from Ms. Charu Pragya and Advocate Mahima Singh. Ms. Pragya, the opposition is asking for the railway minister's resignation. What is your response to that?
My response is that accidents need to be dealt with in a strong way, and in a way where we plug any loopholes that could have existed in this time. On thorough going through the coverage that our CCTVs have recorded at the New Delhi station, it shows that the overcrowding happened at very select positions. And even at 8:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m., the other platforms were functioning quite normally. Yes, the reason for this panic needs to be pinned down, but the opposition's favorite game to play is to ask for a resignation for everything and of everyone. And I don't know why they don't do a little bit of soul searching and stop this vulture politics.
All right. Advocate Mahima Singh, a very quick response to what Charu Pragya has said.
I would say that, the Bharatiya Janata Party has actually become political bloodsuckers. Before they could clean Yamuna, they have bloodied the Ganges. The BJP should ponder over the facts that the people elected them in Delhi and in the center for striking order. Rather, this is the government that is creating disorder everywhere in the name of religion, playing with people's emotions. They should remember Lal Bahadur Shastri's example. They should remember Azam Khan's example, where resignations were offered, where accountability was fixed. This is a government who should not no more, offer us follow.
Why was Azam Khan in charge of a Mahakumbh in the first place? What were you trying to show and do? Explain that to me first. Why was he in charge in the first place?
All right. We are unfortunately running out of time. Thank you everyone for being a part of this panel and sharing your views. It is heartbreaking. This entire tragedy, it raises a lot of questions about crowd management and safety, particularly during large festivals and concerts and events like these, like the Maha Kumbh. And we'll have to wait and watch how the government responds to this and how things are taken forward from here. Time now for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.